All right, everyone, what's going on? We got another manga read-through stream today. It's been a hot minute. Took a little break, had some family over, catching up on videos, but we're back. There's no Martial King this week. I do want to talk about Martial King real quick though, but in place of Martial King, I want to read a manga that I've been neglecting for a while and is pretty underrated. Magilumiere. Magilumiere was really big when it first came out on Manga Plus. Then the anime came out. The anime was done by JC Staff, which has not been the best in the last few years. So yeah, Magilumiere is one of those series. It's no longer in the top 40 of Manga Plus. People still read it, but it's not really going anywhere. They might do a season 2, if that, but I kind of doubt it. But the manga's really good, and I would like to catch up before it ends. Before we get into Magilumiere, though, I do want to talk about a couple of Jump Plus things on a grander scale. But first, let's take a look at chat. We got Eden's in the chat. What's going on, Eden's? We got Grace. What's going on? We got Josh, Justin, all the regulars. What's going on, everybody? We got Gamer Chan, Leanne. What's going on? Like I said, it's been a hot minute. Glad to have everybody back. Glad to see all of the regular happy faces. I knew it was Raps when JC Staff got it. JC Staff really, I don't know what their deal is. They're just not that good. They kind of suck. I don't know who the director is over there, who the CEO is, but they suck. As a matter of fact, they got everything Mashima, right? So Eden Zero, Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. They got One Punch Man, which One Punch Man, because I'm pretty sure JC Staff has One Punch Man season 3. So if JC Staff is doing season 3 of One Punch Man, it's doomed. It's toast. Like, it's so dead. In fact, I'd be curious to see. I would wager it's going to be exactly like Magilumiere, because there's a couple of things going on there. One, just in general, the longer an anime goes on, the less people care about it. You kind of have to have like a legacy effect, like One Piece, or, you know, like a long-running series. But even then, like My Hero Academia, it's on season whatever and nobody really cares. So there's that. There's the fact that it's JC Staff, right? And then there's also the factor of like One Punch Man was already popular with manga fans before the anime, so they're not really hyping it up. But One Punch Man is in a position where like even manga fans, it's just not as hype as it used to be. It's not new. It's not like the new sexy thing. People still really like One Punch Man, but that is not a manga that's like getting tons of new fans. They do have One Punch Man season 3. So I would have to think that they're going to do something different, because like, you know, obviously everyone has an incentive for the anime to do well, but it's like every show they've had has just been like mediocre. Like Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, nobody cares. Eden Zero, dead. Magilumiere, dead. So yeah, they've really just been shooting themselves in the foot with like every IP they have. It's been so long I haven't read a lot of manga. Yeah, besides this past Sunday, I've been doing pretty good with keeping up with manga. I just binged all of the Apothecary Diaries, so TLDR on that one. Read it, it's amazing. The only thing I'll say, and I know it's like ancient China, it was a different time, but the only thing I will say is the dynamic between Jinshi and Mao Mao is a little weird. Like, I know they're basically the same age, but the fact that he's like 7 feet tall and she's like 3 feet tall, it's a little weird. Other than that, love that dynamic. Love the writing in that manga. It's awesome. Read Apothecary Diaries or check out the anime. It's awesome. But let's look at JC Staff. So they have One Punch Man Season 3. They had a honey lemon soda, which I recall some people liking, but it not being super popular. I mean, you look at all of their shows that they've done in the last year or so, and I mean, nothing is above like a 7.9. So like, none of their shows are bad, but considering how long they've been around and the stuff they've done in the past, it sucks. Honey Lemon Soda was actually pretty good. Okay, not blue box quality, but still pretty good. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I heard it was like, you know, fun, but nothing crazy. The problem is they're not getting, you know, like these chill series where like the animation isn't such a big deal. You just need to have like cool looking characters and good writing. One Punch Man, right? Like that's a series, like the animation has to be top tier. Like it has to live up to Yusuke Murata's art style. And season 2 does not. It sucks. What if they had... Interestingly enough, they were also the ones who did House Husband, the Yakuza series. That one, ironically, that was like the one show that didn't really need good animation because they went for like that comedic, like PowerPoint on purpose aesthetic. To me, it just seems like they're cheaping out. Like, they're not really... And I know it's not a budget thing, right? Like, big budget doesn't mean good animation. But the fact that they were the ones who did Way of the House Husband kind of... It seems like a cue to me. Like, that's where their priorities are. I'm just looking through their stuff to see, like, is there anything they've done recently that has been like, damn. They really have not done like a really good show in such a long time, which is kind of sad. So yeah, basically anything JC Staff, trash. One last thing while I'm looking, I want to see if it's got the same director, One Punch Man Season 3. So Season 2, director, question mark? Did they just not list? Characters and staff. Okay, well that's not helpful. Let's see. Okay, no. Characters and staff, here we go. They don't really list a director. They just put a bunch of producers. Huh. I've reached manga burnout. Then take a break. Honestly, if that's how you feel, take a break. Go read comics. Go watch movies. And then when you come back, you'll feel like rejuvenated. If the series has action, just don't expect much from JC staff. Exactly. It's so bad. And it's like weirdly consistent to how bad their shows are. I'm trying to think. So let's do One Punch Man season 2 director. Chikara Sakurai. Okay, let's see. They don't have anyone listed for season 3. I don't know. They could make a comeback, but the fact that like nothing they've done in the last year or so has really stood out tends to imply that the odds of that happening are like super low. Why does your voice give me ASMR vibes? I just got that, you know, nice crispy radio voice. Don't JC staff have a reputation for taking on too many projects at once? I am not too familiar with that reputation, but I mean, they're just at a point where like every season, I can't think of like one show that I'm like, oh, JC staff, right? Like there's certain studios that like you see a show they're doing and they're like, oh, cool, Bones is doing it, Map is doing it. JC staff has like become like just obscure. They're like a band that used to be pretty popular, but you think they stopped making music, but then you look and they've come out with like 20 new albums, but nobody cares. It's kind of like this is not a good analogy, but this is like, they're kind of like Metallica. Like Metallica still makes new songs, but nobody really cares about their new songs. They just like the old stuff. Nobody like is like, oh, did you hear that new Metallica song? It's like, what? It's like, oh, did you watch that new JC staff anime? It's like, what? If that's the case, if they take on a ton of stuff, then that makes sense because they go for like a very cheap approach. Like just all their shows are like bare bones, especially Magilumiere. We should do an assessment or tier list on current anime studios, excuse me, for which ones are hot and which ones need help. Yeah, maybe we'll do that either next Monday or next Thursday. I think that'd be a really good idea. We also need to do, I forget who wanted me to do it, but somebody wanted me to do a like an analyst stream and list all the anime I've watched. We need to do that as well. It's crazy how I can look at a series now and no JC staff did it. Yeah, it's kind of the funny thing is like they don't really have a style so much as like they're so consistently mediocre that when you watch one of their shows, you're like, oh, that's JC staff, isn't it? It was Grace? Okay, I thought it was Grace. We'll do that soon. Before we get into Magilumiere though, I want to take a look at the rankings on Manga Plus. So Boruto is number 1, Chainsaw Man number 2, One Piece number 3, dandadan number 4, Black Clover number 5. So Odor of the Flame is at number 6, which is really good. That means people like Odor of the Flame. And this is after 3 chapters. Yeah, it's after 3 chapters. So if it can stay like this through volume 10, that's a good sign. And if it can stay through like that through volume 20, then that's like a really good sign. What I would like to see is it stay in the top like 15, because after like after like chapter 10 or 20, it tends to be a bit of a drop off. But I'd like to see it be like right on par with Kagurabachi. Kaiju number 7. So Kaiju got knocked out of the top 5. Spy Family number 8. Sakamoto number 9. Kagurabachi number 10. That makes sense. So I caught up to Sakamoto Days. Well, yes and no. So I reread Sakamoto Days. I started all the way back from chapter 1. And there's like 180 chapters. I read up to chapter 150. Excuse me. I have to say, Sakamoto Days is the first manga in a while that I purposefully dropped. Like I had every intention to read up through the new chapters, and I got to like chapter 145 and I'm like, I just don't care. I really don't care. So Sakamoto Days for me is like a 6 out of 10 series. It's not bad, but I just don't care. The art is good. The action looks really cool. I just don't care about the characters after like volume 10. JC staff is what? McDonald's? Yeah, that's basically it. They pump out enough anime to where everybody knows who they are, but like you wouldn't get, you know, you wouldn't get like a JC staff burger, so to speak, and be like, wow, that was really good. You'd be like, yeah, it's JC staff. I'm going into a manga spiral. I want to read manga freely and for myself. That's what I'm saying. Just like pick a series, browse through Manga Plus, be like, oh, that looks really cool, and just read it. My advice is to read it in one sitting, because if you drag it out, then that's when it gets boring. If you can like dedicate a day to like just reading a series in one sitting, do that. Because the longer it takes to read a manga, the less fun it's going to be. Unless you're like having a blast, but odds are that's not going to be the case. Ichi the Witch still doing good in the top 15. Centauria is doing really good. Also, I want to talk about, did anybody else catch on Twitter, Masta Munsta, who's like a big Twitter account for manga. He was doing a Centauria read through, and he screenshotted a picture of what's her name, Agni, I think. I can't remember the like buff lady from Centauria. And he was like, wow, this lady has no butt. And the creator of Centauria quote tweeted it. They quoted it and they were like, you're goddamn right, I drew a small butt. So if you like Centauria, that's like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Go, if you don't believe me, go to look up the creator of Centauria on Twitter. Look at their profile. It's like funny without being gross. Like, it is a little weird, but it's funny enough that you're like, huh. I thought it was hilarious. I'm glad that Odor is doing well. In fact, everything I complained about with Red Hood is fixed on a technical level. So far, I agree. Odor of the Flame is doing really good. Centauria has been feeling rushed to me ever since the time skip, yet it doesn't seem to be ending soon. It's weird. I haven't read Centauria in a few months, so I'm probably like 12-ish chapters behind. I need to catch up with that soon. But I mean, it's doing strong. It's consistently like in the top 15. Magical Girl and Narco Wars is on what, chapter 4? Chapter 4, and it's in the top 14, so it's doing good, not bad. Mad still in the top 20, excuse me. Hero Organization cannot seem to break that top 20, which is fine. I don't think Hero Organization is ever going to blow up, but it's doing really good. Chojin X still in like the top 30. Martial King is looking a bit down, but it's also on break, so that's understandable. Kyoshi is dangerously close to the number 40 spot. So Kyoshi is sort of dancing that line of like still pretty popular, but it's dancing. Like, for a frame of reference, Marriage Toxin, which was previously not in the top 40 recently, is at number 35. Kyoshi is at 39. So Kyoshi's struggling. Hematen is at number 32. Anyway, I just wanted to look at the Manga Plus rankings. Let's look at the Jump website. So the top 8 series on the Jump website are Chainsaw Man, One Piece, Kagurabachi, Spy Family, Sakamoto Days, Ichi the Witch, Odor of the Flame, and dandadan. So pretty synonymous with the Manga Plus rankings. So Kyoshi is not really keeping people's attention, like just barely. What about Shinobi Undercover? I don't really think people are reading that series. I don't think anyone hates it, but that's what makes it weird to me. When the pace sped up, I thought it was ending, but that is not the case. Again, I don't know. I'm out of the loop with Centauria. Yeah, Kyoshi is getting the cover page, which is awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Kyoshi is just constantly going to have an uphill battle, which is fine. I want it to be underestimated. I think I should quit tracking my manga. I think so too. Anyway, all right. So I looked at the rankings. As usual, I like to look at the rankings just to stay up to date. So now I'll take a look at Magilumiere. Yeah, you don't want to be a completionist. My advice is to just pick a series that looks cool and then binge it. If it's a currently running series, then catch up and then read it as soon as the new chapters come out. But don't look at manga like you have to read, you know, the classics or whatever. Just read what looks cool. So I'm about to start Shinobu Undercover. Oh, Shinobi Undercover? Shinobi. I figured it's not going to go anywhere soon. Yeah, it's one of those series that, like, I don't think it's going to get cut, but it's not going anywhere. Sure, but any recommendations? Dragon Quest is really good. The Heroic Legend of Arslan, if you want like a good fantasy manga that isn't, you know, like a Western RPG but is different, read that. And then I'll give a third one. If you want a good horror manga, read Mad. Mad is amazing. It's not finished though. So what was I gonna say? So I'm like halfway through Magilumiere, but I'm gonna start from chapter 1 because it's been so long since I've like kept up with the series that I've kind of forgot all the characters' names. I know basically the plot, like I could give a really lazy spark notes of Magilumiere, but it's been long enough that I would like to start from chapter 1. So that's what I'm going to do. Trust me, it's good. I recommended the 5 to 6 series that remain from 2024 from Jump, and my friend really liked Ouji and Shinobi. All right then. One thing about Magilumiere that kind of sold me right away and still like makes it one of my low-key favorite series is the art style. Now this is one of those manga where the writer and the artist are a duo. So let me see. Do they list Yu Aoki? I want to see if they've done anything else. No, this is like their first manga. The only thing they've done besides Magilumiere, they did a one-shot called Ayakashi-kun Kataru. Which looks like some weird animal series. Yeah. I really like their art style, so I hope when this manga ends, either the duo stays together and they make something else, or the artist goes on to do another manga, because the art in the series is really good. I love the character designs in Magilumiere. Kana, Koshigaya, Tsuchiba. What's the boss's name in the dress? He should be like an anime icon. If I still had my hair, I would dress up as him 100%. Although I'm not tall enough. He's like really tall. I could always get a wig though. And I guess the other thing about Magilumiere that's really cool too is it's like, it's kind of a mix of genres. I don't read a lot of magical girl series, but I would imagine they lean more into the fantasy side, whereas Magilumiere is more science fiction. So it's less Sailor Moon and more like Power Rangers, for a lack of a better comparison. Excuse me. Shigemoto, that's his name. He's like low-key my favorite character. Excuse me. For anyone in chat, what would be like a good magical girl series recommendation? There's, oh god, Sailor Moon. I know there's like the dark one there where like it's like supposed to be cute, but then the plot twist is like actually it was all a lie and it's like all evil or whatever. But off the top of my head, I can't think of a series I've heard of where it's like magical girls, but like not fantasy. Like it's more like kaiju and like Ranger Reject and like science fiction. Also, the cute thing about Magilumiere is that like at its core, it's not a slice of life series, but it's very relatable in the sense that like they all have like an office job. So it's like the anime version of The Office. If Magilumiere was popular enough, we could get like an office cover of Magilumiere where somebody animates the Office opening theme song, but it's like them like doing paperwork on like kaiju and brooms. Madoka Magica, that's what I was trying to think of. I know that's a big series. Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, I know that's another one, and Kaito Saint Tail. Little Witch Academia by Trigger, I know that one's supposed to be really good. Cardcaptor Sakura and Kaito Saint Trail, are either of those science fiction, like kaiju? OG, am I caught up with Chainsaw Man? I am caught up. New chapters, kind of lame. I'm withdrawing any hot takes about Chainsaw Man for the time being, only because I feel like it would be unfair to compare part 2 to part 1 yet, because it's easy to compare part 1 to part 2 and be like, Part 1 is so much better. Chainsaw Man fell off. But in the moment, Chainsaw Man Part 1 was just as much of a roller coaster ride. And you also had the added factor of it being new. So people were a little more forgiving. Like, they didn't have the expectations they have now. Now the expectations are different, and but you're still in the same situation of like, it's a roller coaster. You're in the moment. You don't know how it's really building up. So it could still turn out to be better, but based on the general vibe of the community, people are not really messing with Chainsaw Man like they used to. I think we're legitimately in a situation where if Fujimoto does a part 3, it needs to be different. He needs to do something different, and not like part 2 different where like it's kind of different, but then 30 chapters later we're just doing the same shit over and over. Like part 3, if it happens, which I hope we get a part 3, it needs to like be game changing, because otherwise I think Chainsaw Man is going to like shoot itself in the foot, and people like just aren't going to care anymore, which is kind of already happening now. Is Kagurabachi worth reading? It turns out the heir was born in 2000. You mean the author? I would say it's worth reading. I really love Kagurabachi. Author. Okay, that's what I thought. The art in Mad kind of reminds me of Fujimoto and Akutami. That is exactly what I said. It feels like a fusion of Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. Saint Tail is a cops and robbers story. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Maybe I'll check out that one, excuse me. I didn't know what you looked like until now, but holy, I was expecting something else. Oh, thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, I need to update my avatar. Like, I need to update this guy, and then I need to update the avatar in the videos, which that'll be coming soon. I need to update it with my profile picture, because my profile picture is a little more in character. I forgot your lo-fi playlist. What is it? Bits and Hits. Go on YouTube or Spotify, look up Bits and Hits. Have I read Berserk, Vinland Saga, or Kingdom? Have not read Kingdom. Don't plan on reading it soon. I've read Vinland Saga, but I'm not caught up. I am caught up on the English physical volumes. So whatever is printed in English, I have read it. I've not read the newest chapters of Vinland Saga. And then I've started Berserk like twice, but just because of time and life, I've always fallen out of it. But I think this coming month I'm gonna binge Berserk, because it's overdue for sure. Honestly, never saw the profile picture. I just remember the Zatch Bell video. Well, I'm glad you liked the Zatch Bell video. I had a lot of fun making that one. Kingdom is really good. Kingdom is really good, but it's also, isn't it like over 1,000 chapters? Like, I'm at a point, respectfully, where I try not to, well, I don't try not to, but it's very hard for me to make the time to read manga that I'm not going to cover in stream or do a video about. So if I were to do Kingdom, I would probably do a stream about it, which I'm not opposed to, but it's just one of those series where like I'm not particularly motivated to check it out. It looks cool, but eh. Grace, so I said it before, I'll say it again. The lo-fi playlist, just check out the channel on YouTube or Spotify. They're called Bits and Hits. Bits and Hits. Can I do a what happened to Ruri Dragon or Seraph of the End? Maybe, excuse me, maybe Seraph of the End, but Ruri Dragon, I feel like is pretty self-explanatory. Maybe a review. Curious to see. Damn. I don't know. I might have to do a Ruri Dragon video. Seraph of the End, maybe we'll do a stream, but I don't know that I'll do a video on it. But maybe Ruri Dragon. Dang, I don't think I have the patience to read 900 plus chapters. I can do like a 300 chapter series in like a week tops. Like 300 chapters. I've read so many series like that I'm used to like binging those. But 1,000 chapters is, ugh, God, that's forever. That's literally forever. I feel you. Meanwhile, in 2030, Ouji's going to drop his review on the latest Rent a Girlfriend chapter when it's somewhere in the 700s. Bro, there's no way. That series is on what? Chapter like 300? So no. Eden's, what's the newest chapter of Rent a Girlfriend? It's 300 something, right? I'm not crazy. Isn't it like 325? A lot of people were annoyed that Ruri Dragon had a school festival arc. Bro. People are weird, man. All I know about Seraph of the End is someone told me that the fan base is supposed to be like super toxic. $378. Rent a Girlfriend is 378 chapters. It is longer than Dr. Stone. It is longer than Undead Unluck. It is longer than Soul Eater. It is longer than Fire Force. It is longer than Jujutsu Kaisen. Dude. If it's longer than 700 chapters, that'll be like the biggest feat in manga history. That's ridiculous. Yeah, did I hear about Texas banning anime and manga? Texas is wild, man. Like, didn't they ban marijuana? Weed? And it's still in a date arc. Rent a Girlfriend is on the same arc it's been. Dude. What's my opinion on the ending of Demon Slayer? The ending. So the final arc is an 8 out of 10. The final fight sucks. The fight against Muzan sucks, sucks, sucks. It sucks. It's booty. It's cheeks. I hate it. My hero is about 430. Rent a Girlfriend's got less than 60. So Rent a Girlfriend has got like a year and a half before it beats my hero. That's wild. Kind of ironic that Texas has anime dubbing studios, Crunchyroll and Sentai Filmwork. That's weird that Crunchyroll is based out of Texas. Hajime no Ippo is over 1,400 chapters. See, funny enough, I would have no problem reading Hajime no Ippo. I guess I just don't know enough about Kingdom to where I'm interested. Whereas with the series like Hajime no Ippo, I love boxing and I love like old school series. So that's like two things for me. Like, boom, I'm in. Plus, I like that art style. The Kingdom art style does not do it for me. Formerly Funimation. Still, that's weird. I would think they're based out of California. I live in Oklahoma, and knowing my governor who wants to do everything like Texas and Florida may take a note from it. That sucks. I thought it was Georgia. It could have been Georgia too. I live in New England. We don't care about anime. I'm still very much invested in this conversation. I'm trying to deliver on the title of the video by reading Magilumiere. I got to go on a tour of, I'm guessing, Crunchyroll Funimation last year and see some stuff. That's pretty cool. Does Hajime no Ippo still have the same author? I would think so. Yeah. I don't see anything to suggest otherwise. I know I'm enjoying this chat. That's what I try to do at streams. I try to have some kind of structure, so that, you know, it's not just like, hey, let's, but people like when I go on my rants, so I try to entertain that. But at the same time, it's a little hard because, you know, it's not like this is a gaming channel. I don't have a bunch of flashy things on my screen. I do need to at some point upgrade the UI a bit, make it more fun to do stuff. But yeah. The reason why Funimation is not based in California is because of one thing: taxes. And when you live in California, it is expensive, and also unions. Yeah, but you would think, like, because it's a Japanese congruent company, that they'd be based out of California. I guess that goes to show how little they do business, like how little they do business with like actual people from Japan. And like anything they do can probably just be handled in like a Zoom call. Unlike Viz. I hate to ask, but can you do another Black Clover video? I would like to do another Black Clover video, but I still feel like my last one on what happened pretty much summarizes all my thoughts. I will probably do one when the manga wraps up, just to do like a review. But I would say what I said about Black Clover like a year or two ago is still pretty accurate of Black Clover today. Also, yeah, Black Clover was not shafted. It's just Tabata needed more time. So they're like, all right, we'll give you more time, but that's not what we do in Jump. So we'll put you in one of the other magazines. He's still getting printed chapters. It's not like they put him in, you know, Jump Plus and we're like, hey, so yeah, you're digital now. You just don't get printed chapters. God, I love the duo of Magilumiere. Like, talk about great anime duos. I was gonna say, I don't think Ocean dub has been a thing forever. Maybe they're doing other stuff, but I haven't heard of like an Ocean dub for anime in ever. God, what a mood. Kana going to a work interview and they're just like, yeah, no. And then she goes on her little to-do list and it's like the 10th company she's interviewed at and they're all just like, sorry. Like, ugh, hate that. That's the 15th one. Oh my God. 15 job rejections is torture. That sucks. Black Lagoon or Death Note. Generally, I'm more of a subtitled guy. Were those Ocean dubs? I didn't know that. I would have thought they were Funimation. Kana gets a free iced coffee and a chocolate chip cookie. Bro, I could get rejected by 20 companies. That would make my day. Not that I'm crazy about iced coffee, especially not Starbucks. That stuff is McDonald's. Like, you should just eat like a tub of butter. It'd be just as it'd have the same nutritional impact on your body. Not that there's anything wrong about iced coffee, but goddamn, people put like half a pantry in that thing. Did I see that? Oh god, yeah. I feel like people put way too much weight into the Crunchyroll Awards. The problem with the Crunchyroll Awards is Crunchyroll doesn't seem to care. Like, they don't really have so part of the problem is, like, who are your authorities gonna be in, like, judging anime? There's Trash Taste. There's, like, anime what they ought to do is get, like, you know, like, manga translators, people who work from Viz. The problem is, like, besides Trash Taste, there's nobody really, like, big enough where it would be beneficial to them to hire them as a judge. Beyond that is, like, people who work in the industry, but then all you're doing is, like, making it like a big promo if you just hire people from, like, Funimation and Viz. I just feel like the pool for judges isn't big enough. And then the way they handle it is, like, very unceremonious. And then also the fact that, like, they wait until March to do it. Like, this is the kind of thing that they should be doing by February. It's crazy to me how they handle that. It seems very Mickey Mouse to me. But people act shocked, but it's always been a popularity contest. Like, it's not like, you know, like all, like the Oscars and all that, where you have this, like, hidden panel of, like, the Illuminati that, you know, picks the awards that, like, nobody ever sees their face. Like, you see the judges, like, you know who they are, and you also know that people are voting online for this stuff, and that has a huge impact. And if you've watched any of the, like, manga of the year streams, you know that people vote for the same stuff over and over, right? Like One Piece, Kingdom, One Punch Man. So it's just like a giant popularity contest. That being said, Solo Leveling was, like, the #1 anime of the year, so it makes total sense that it won a bunch of awards. It shouldn't have won as many as it did, but it is what it is. I think what they need to do is they need to do a better job of keeping series from monopolizing all the categories. The problem is they just put everything up for everything. And so they allow anime fans to just say Solo Leveling is the best action series. It had the best ship. It had the best OP. It was the best fantasy. Like, just put it up for, like, 2 of those things. It's funny because that was only Solo Leveling Season 1 in the... What? That's the other... Excuse me, hold on. Pardon me. That's the other thing, too. The whole, like, oh, we don't count the fall season or whatever. Ridiculous. Mind-boggling. It completely... It's just this whole rigmarole of, like, we're gonna pretend like nothing came out after October. Like, what? It's stupid to me. And that's the thing. People vote thinking, you know, with people season 2 in their head, and it's like, Is anime original content disappointing? No, as long as it's good. That's just pure absurdity. Exactly. I have never voted in the Crunchyroll Awards. I don't care to. I would love to be a judge. I'm nowhere near big enough to do that. I would love to be a judge. One, just to like see what the process is like, but two, to like actually be able to have more of a voice as opposed to just being a spectator. It's a nightmare. I have to imagine it's a bit of a nightmare to organize that sort of thing, because there's such a, I guess, hierarchy of what people watch. It's like Solo Leveling, and then somewhere way at the bottom is stuff like Sign of Affection, right? Like that stuff, they need to use the judges more, because the judges should be there. They ought to do it like an electoral college, where like there's the popular vote and then there's the judges vote, where they count all the votes online, so then they can like publish that, you know, for fans to decide for themselves. But when they do the awards, the judges should have the final say. It seems like the whole thing is very Mickey Mouse. But they ought to do it like some kind of electoral college type system, because it's a popularity contest, and like the biggest shows are always going to beat like the shows that actually deserve awards. Have I checked out Bungo Stray Dogs? No, but I know it's supposed to be really good. Couldn't get into it, thought it was mundane. I mean, it seems pretty good. I heard it's supposed to be a really good story, but I just don't have much of an incentive to check it out. Pardon me. Koshi Gaia. Kana and Koshi Gaia. And the president is Shirahama, if I remember. Bro, they just need to make me the champion of anime and manga, and I don't want to do it, but somebody has to do it. I'll go ahead and save anime. The funny thing about Magilumiere is the whole premise of the first chapter is that the company, even though it's a small company, the whole premise is that they're short-staffed, so they need to hire like an intern, which is so funny because I feel like the number one word in the workforce right now is understaffed. And I do air quotes, but it is a big problem. Like anywhere you go, everybody says the same thing. We're understaffed. It's so weird. Like everyone wants a job, but somehow everyone is understaffed. How's that one work? But it just goes to show, like, this is basically a series about office life, interns, reading manuals, being understaffed. Con is really putting me to shame too, because she can read a whole manual on, you know, some sci-fi witch bullshit and she remembers the whole thing. But I read this manga like a year ago and I can't remember half the characters' names. So she's really putting me to shame. But exactly. Positions are filled, but we're understaffed. It's like, we're not hiring, but we're understaffed. It's like, how does that one work? Opinion of the cursed sound effects in JJK? They're fine. Unremarkable. Nowhere close to Dave Pro. I'm gonna finish this first chapter. I wanted to read more. I wanted to read at least like volume 1, but that's okay. We had a good chat. The introduction of the boss is so funny. One of my favorite designs in manga ever. Just like this dude who looks like somebody you would see at a convention. Like really tall, clearly masculine man. Has his hair grown out with a ribbon, with a magical girl costume, wearing ribbon high heels, mid-calf socks, and he's like, hello, welcome to my company. Like totally dead ass. I'm Shigemoto, the president of this company. And they're like, oh yeah, hey. She's like, what the fuck is going on? That's awesome. But anyway, yeah, that's gonna be it for today's stream. Thank you everybody for joining in. Look forward to a stream on Sunday. We'll read all the usual Shonen Jump stuff. Stream on Monday as well, right? Dandadan? That's a good question. Yep, new chapter in 4 days. Dope. Yeah, and then look out for videos this weekend, and then sometime either Sunday or Monday I'll do a update for June. But that's gonna be it, guys. Thanks everybody, and I will see you Sunday. Peace.